Hello and welcome to another video from TheSavageTrout on YouTube, and it is episode 34 of my FIFA 15 Burnley career mode. And it's been one hell of a season, and it has all come down to the final day against Aston Villa, where if they beat us, they relegate us. All we need is a point, but sometimes it's more difficult in that situation. I've found it out before because it's happened to me one time before as well. Back on FIFA 13, but I'll talk about that later. This is the lineup we're going to go with. So I'm just going for this lineup because I think I've kind of collated the best performers of the season into probably the best formation that I've had. I went for a standard 4-4-2 just because it's helped us win against Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal. So it may just work in this, but I've gone for Sordell and Jutskovic up front. Jutskovic is kind of self-explanatory. He's our top goal scorer, even though he's kind of tailed off towards the end. Sordell has that pace factor that we may need against the likes of Vla, who are going to be slower in their defence. And he also possesses a bit of an aerial threat. So I'll just select him over Jerome because he's just scored more goals, and Jerome's first touch is tragic. Kitely starting instead of Boyd, that was kind of a choice that I had to make. I just thought Kitely's kind of crossing would help us better in this situation. Bentleb and Taylor have been my two best central midfielders. Obviously Taylor getting that goal against Hull, which was hugely important to kind of put himself in the team with that. Arfield's been inspirational at points with his substitute appearances, and defence has kind of locked itself in as the season's gone on. Hayton's the only kind of guy I'm not so sure about, just because he's had a few moments recently, I should say. As for the rest of the table, Chelsea have sewn out the title relatively easily. The top four's pretty much set in as well there. The only battle is ready for 5th and, 10th up to 8th as well. Liverpool down in 10th. Could slip into the bottom half of the table, which would be quite funny to see. We could also go up to 15th here if we win our game, and results with West Brom and Leicester go our way. But obviously our main focus is just winning this game, really. I don't want to say not losing, because I think that does just kind of put more pressure on you and forces you to go more defensive, and then you start kind of just worrying about it more. But anyway, I'll talk about my previous experiences which have happened in situations like this, because I've had one other experience in a relegation battle. Even though you might not think it, considering my performances this season, I'm not usually in relegation battles on FIFA career modes. My Norwich career mode, as I keep alluding to show that I'm not terrible, I am 3rd in the league, in the Premier League with Norwich, which just kind of makes this a bit worse for us, really. And Manchester United have won with them plenty of times. AC Milan have won Serie A, Champions League. What else? I mean, I've won the league easily with Spurs. Stoke, got them in the top half on previous FIFA games. So I don't know if it's just this FIFA, maybe ever since the patch came out. I mean, my performances recently have been terrible. Ever since I beat Manchester United, it's all gone wrong. I've done a Leicester, that's what I've done this season, which is kind of ironic because Leicester have kind of led to our downfall with their 2 victories over us in 2 games where we really should have beaten them in both and lost 1-0 through rather annoying goals. Here's Trippier there into Bentleb, and here's a chance to cross it in. Sordell can't get to it, and it's actually going out to Taylor. Maybe could have gone to Kitely on the wing there, actually, but oh well. Actually, we're going to go balanced. We could go to attacking if it gets a bit hairy, but here's Xhaka winning it in the air. I'm just going to try and be as relaxed about this as possible, because you need a relaxed mind to try and win this. But anyway, here's Kitely, and it's a good ball. Then Jutskovic tries to attack it, can't quite get there. Bentleb nicks it over to Trippier, who finds Arfield. That's a good tackle, and now they've got a chance to counter-attack. Benteke is going to be a really dangerous player. But anyway, going back to my FIFA 13 experience, it was with Sunderland. We were 17th in the league, hadn't had a great season. We had kind of one main goal scorer, like Jutskovic now, with Stephen Fletcher. But even he didn't quite score enough goals for us compared to how many goals I was leaking in the defence. It's kind of why I felt sorry for Gus Poyet last season. It's actually Sordell here. That's got to be a free kick now. Apparently not. Good job, referee. Bentleb's done well there. Jutskovic can't get in front of the defender, which is slightly frustrating. I'll get to the point eventually, but FIFA 13, I think it was. I think it was 2 years ago, if I remember correctly. We were 17th with Sunderland on the final day of the season. Similar situation to this, 2 points above Swansea. All we needed was a point, really, to stay up. Swansea were facing Spurs. We were facing Aston Villa, funnily enough. And, you know, I was expecting to stay up, to be honest, as we're trying to launch it over to Jutskovic here. Maybe we should have took more time there. Good tackle by Jutskovic. That's what we need. He really needs to get in there. And now here's a chance for Arfield to break. Sanchez has got a lot of pace, but Arfield's done very well. Jutskovic now. Kitely. It's just the bus mentality that I can't break down at the moment. Good ball in. Jutskovic! Headers it in! And I keep interrupting my story because it might repeat itself here. But at the moment, Jutskovic, the man who's been our top scorer this season, has got his 12th of the season in the league. And it's a header that we've had, well, we've just scored so many headers this season, and it's come again. But it's not over yet, because I'll continue the story. It's perfect timing now, because we took the lead early in the game, but Swansea beat Spurs 4-0, and we could see that coming up on the scoreboard, so we started getting a bit more tense. And then we went into the last 10 minutes, we were winning 1-0 in this exact same fixture away to Aston Villa. Abong Lahore then scored an equaliser, and it was kind of, we're on the ropes. And then Darren Bent came off the bench and scored the winner for Aston Villa to relegate us. Swansea stayed up, so retribution would be nice here. But we could actually concede here, and it's a very dangerous area, and somehow Aston Villa haven't scored there. They really should have done. It was a golden opportunity for them. As that's kind of a hoofball, which didn't really work for us in the end. Jutskovic could not get onto it. Ron Vlaar into Sanchez, into Cleverley. Well played by Bentaleb. Couldn't quite nick it through. If we could get a second goal here, we'd really put the pressure on Aston Villa, because then that would force them to kind of go for it and then counter-attacks, and then we could really start to decimate them. Here's Bentaleb. If we can keep the ball as well, that would be good. Our possession stats haven't really been favourable this season. Oh, great run by Trippier. Can we whip it in here to get another header in? Sordell now is a chance, but it's going to... well, it hasn't quite felt to Abong Lahore. Ward with good control there to make sure it didn't get out of his kind of path, I guess. Here's Jutskovic, trying to find a bit of room for himself. It could actually fall nicely here because... oh, bit of sloppy defending there from Villa, really. And Vlaar hasn't really cleared, so Sissoko now has a chance to break away with it here. Kitely, can he get to it? He intercepts it, which is quite nice. But at the moment it's looking good for us. Kitely over to Arfield. That's a good ball. Bentaleb's done very well there, and he's gone past two actually, and he's tried to slot in Jutskovic, and that would have been a very nice goal if it had, if the pass had just been a bit better and Jutskovic had maybe been a bit more aware. As Xhaka wins it in the air, he does that so many times brilliantly. Obviously pace is maybe where he lacks, but he still is very good at making tackles and winning the ball in the air. Good tackle by Ward. Obviously the transfer window is going to be very important for us, as Zombie has got a good chance here in the summer, because can Arfield clip it through? Yes, he can, to Jutskovic. And if Jutskovic has a pace on Vlaar here, which he probably should do, we've almost overran it, but we've done very well to get a corner there. But if we do stay up, if we don't stay up, I'm just going to quit this career mode completely, as Bentaleb with the header couldn't quite direct it fully towards goal and into the net. But if we do stay up, which is looking favourable, which is looking like the favourable odds even. I can't even say the words at the moment because I'm so tense, as that's just offside for Sordell. It's a terrible finish though. Not quite sure what he was doing there. If we stay up, my target for next season is top 4, which is a crazy kind of target to set, you may think, considering how much I've been struggling this season. But I did not have a summer transfer window for the first season when I started. So, and the January transfer window, I just didn't get enough players, and I was kind of mid-table at that point, so I was kind of settling in and thinking that there was going to kind of be an easy run, but as Taylor couldn't quite win it in the air there, I was kind of thinking it was going to be an easy run, but it started to turn a bit worse for us kind of from March onwards, as Keane wins it in the air nicely there. Jutskovic couldn't quite get to it. But we've got to definitely buy a more clinical striker, like Van Volswinkel in my Norwich career is a very prolific striker. Probably not going to bring Van Volswinkel in, but there are options who I could bring in, as Arsenal actually losing to West Brom, which isn't helping us get above them. Leicester drawing was QPR, so at the moment I think we're going to stay 17th as it stands. Crystal Palace winning again, and if Crystal Palace had kind of got their motor going a bit earlier, they may have been able to stay up, because ever since they got relegated, or look like they're almost certainly going to get relegated, they've kind of started to playing well. QPR have been pretty poor throughout. Is that going to be a free kick, is it? Yes, it is. Not great for us in this position. And Zogbia may be able to whip one towards goal here. Fantastic save from Heaton. He may have made a few mistakes this season in games like Arsenal and against Everton as well, especially, but that is a save that we desperately needed, and he's pulled out the goods. Cleverly's going to whip this ball in, and can Heaton get to that? It's gone all the way to the far post, actually, and sadly Arfield couldn't quite take it under control, but also poke the ball. So Aston Verslava under their control. Sissoko, that's a poor touch. Oh, he's just about got away with it though. Sanchez, that should be cleaned up by Arfield. Well played. And now Taylor needs to get to it, and it's going to break for him anyway. And now it's going to come to Kitely, and now we've got plenty of kind of space to break. Ward's lost it. I'd tried to break quickly there, but it didn't really work. We're either going to lose the ball or get forced out of play. Here's Loughton, and that's come to a Bonlahor, who is a dangerous player, very OP on FIFA. Now it's Sissoko. Good tackle, might be a free kick. Yes, it is a free kick. Another dangerous area, and I think it's going to be Nzogbia again. And Nzogbia this time passes it short, which I wasn't expecting, to be fair, and he's somehow driven through there. Got to be careful. These are the type of areas where we could concede a goal. It's going to be another throw-in for them. Cleverly. Good tackle. Oh, it's very nicely worked by them, though. Luckily, Nzogbia does a Jerome touch. I used to call it the Akinde touch, but I'm starting to give it to Jerome, considering some of the touches he's had this season. As they're really playing it around on the edge of the box here in the second half. They've kind of had to go with this mentality, but luckily, he's just completely scuffed his lines there. Whoever that was, couldn't quite tell. It's Darren Benson now, the man who synced us 2 years ago to relegation, the only time I've ever been relegated on a FIFA career mode. Surely he's not going to be able to do it again. Ward into Sordell, although he has just scored 2 goals for Derby, I believe, so it's not impossible. That's going to be a yellow card, is it? Considering the... Oh no, he's just not going to give him anything, sadly. But we've got a chance to whip the ball into the box here, or maybe actually go short, but we're going to whip it in with Shackle, actually. Which hasn't really worked. In fact, it looks like it could backfire on us pretty badly, because Benteke's breaking was quite a lot of pace for his size as well. And it's now into Darren Ben. Surely he's not going to break our hearts again here. But Benteke tries to play over for Sanchez, and that's a pretty poor ball all in all. So luckily we're going to be able to get away with it here. And if we can send Jerome on his way, it was the right kind of pass. And look at that, Sordell. Vla's been completely beaten for pace, but Sordell couldn't slow down. That's frustrating. Sordell has all the right tools, it's just maybe his finishing, well, mainly his touch is just let him down. But apart from that, he really does have all the right tools. He's good in the air, he's got pace, and he can finish a lot of the time. I mean, sometimes it does take him quite a few chances to really get into it, but once he does, he can be unstoppable. Especially in the leagues like the Championship. Obviously Premier League's another kind of level. But here's Sanchez. Not suggesting that we want to go down to the Championship, obviously, otherwise we'd lose this game, which we might still do. Oh, good header in the air. Jutskovic away. Sordell. Oh dear. Sanchez into Loughton. Sanchez again. Aston Villa have pretty much dominated this second half, I'd say, but they haven't done anything with the ball. But then again, they didn't really do much with the ball the last time they relegated me in my Sunderland career mode. And then they scored 2 goals with 10 minutes to go. Taylor's done well there. And it's into our field. And Jutskovic couldn't quite win it. I would say this game so far has just kind of been a metaphor for our season as in Zogbia, and there's a chance for Fabian Delph. Great save again, and Heaton is really addressing his critics, which is just me mainly. But he is addressing his critics. We're going to make a few, well, in fact, we're just going to go completely all out with changes here. And make the 3 changes of Boyd, Ings and Jerome coming on. Kind of 2 guys who haven't maybe lived up to the hype I was putting around them. Ings has been probably the most disappointing player for me this season, as that was a bit dangerous, and it's come to Cleverley on the edge, and he hits it over, and they're really putting the pressure on now, Villa, but we haven't caved in at all. But yeah, 2 players I've kind of been disappointed with now coming on. Chance to redeem themselves late on here and really make the gap very short for us, so there is no kind of way back for Villa here, as we've given the ball away cheaply there. But Ings, apart from that Arsenal game where we beat them 2-0 and he really shone, where he came back from injury, it's just been a season kind of blighted with injuries and lack of clinicalness. I mean, he's linked up with Jutskovic quite nicely on occasions, as here's a chance for him, but again, I just tried to take it in his stride, but it didn't really work. We should have played it back off to the winger there. Good tackle-ish. Come to Sissoko. Yeah, this has kind of been a metaphor for our season. Kind of sloppy and not very pretty, but enough. Good play by Boyd there, and it's Bentleb, and look how much room Jerome has, and if he can have a good touch, he's put it away from Ron Vlaar. Can he cut inside? Yes, he can. I've slightly cocked it up, to be fair. It's clipped into Boyd, though, and he hits it. Decent effort, and we couldn't quite get to the rebound, but we're still putting pressure on them late in the day, which is exactly what we need to do. They need 2 goals with 5 minutes to go here, and surely they can't do it. We've been calming the situation away from home, which is exactly what we needed to do. I mean, the last game we played against them was 0-0. I would have taken it here, but 1-0 is even better, as that's going to be a free kick, and they've got a last chance saloonry to at least get a goal back and maybe put a bit of pressure on us. But I think at the moment, Aston Villa are going to end. Oh, here's a chance, but a good save by Heaton again. Look how many players have committed forward here. Jerome's got a really good chance to break if he can get a powerful enough header, which he has done. And oh, great tackle by Clark. Actually, the free kick's been given. It looked like he got the ball to me, to be fair, but they've given it anyway. And look at this, 90th minute. If Trippier can curl it in here, it would end our season with a bang, with what's been a kind of mediocre season. 25 yards out, and Trippier hits it. Oh, it's slightly curling towards the goal, I think, but again, he just hasn't quite been able to score the free kick that I would have liked this season, Trippier. Yeah, it wasn't quite enough. But anyway, we are going to save our season. We are going to continue on for season 2 and look towards the top 4 with better signings, because we are not going to get relegated here unless something miraculous happens. And Zogbia can't quite play it through. It's going to be nice to get a clean sheet. Actually, it's Heaton. Almost made a mistake there. Let's actually come back to Fabian Delph. Westwood. Sissoko. Boyd's done well, and it is full time, and we are safe for season 1. It's not been the season I was hoping for. I was hoping we could kind of push for mid-table. I thought maybe 14th up to kind of 10th would be a good result this season with the players that we have and the conditions I've kind of put myself in. But we went on that poor run from March. But in these last couple of games, we've just been able to scrape the results out against Hull and Aston Villa away from home, which have worked wonders for us. Jutskovic header, as so many times he's done this season, separates the sides and separates relegation and safety. And what a moment that is. I mean, it really wasn't the most interesting game, but I don't really care at this point. But anyway, I'll just give you a quick kind of note on Season 2. I'm hoping I can kind of blast through it quite quickly. The first few episodes will probably... Well, the first episode will just be kind of going through pre-season and the transfers. Obviously, episode 2 will then be the season. But I'm obviously pretty much going to be sticking to just highlights, so I'm kind of hoping I can get through this Burnley career mode a lot quicker. As you can see, we finished 17th there. Leicester actually, I think, might have won their game, so we couldn't jump anyone. But it has been a very, very good season, I would say. We've had some great moments, we've had some low moments, kind of the perfect mix, and we just about stayed up. Maybe not the greatest moment, but it's still kind of a nice moment to survive. I just said it was mission impossible at the start of the season, but we have managed to achieve it now. But obviously a lot is going to change over the summer, but we are blabbering on a bit now. So thank God for that we won. The 40 points is what we needed, and we have stayed up here. So thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.